Hello, my sweet, sweet boys. Welcome back to Kanode Knows. This week on the show, we have Pat Freyne. Pat Freyne is an Australian biker and photographer and is really living this BMX life. He is, what is he? He's a dope dude, a very tall man, but a savage on the bike. And I actually didn't know too much about where he comes from and his origin story, so it was really cool to get to know him a little bit more in this episode, and I just enjoyed talking to him, so I think you will too. Good dude. Good, talented, funny, opinionated dude. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the serious stuff. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, leave a 5-star review on the podcast, and buy my merch when it comes out. That's all. Here's Pat Freyne. Kanode Knows. I've never been much of a grid guy until I never knew. I always thought it was just some extra kind of bullshit to put that cool looking thing. But then once I learned that it makes it stay in one spot, I was like, oh, that's cool. Hi, Pat Freyne.
How's it going, dude?
Is that how you say it?
How do you say your
last name?
Freyne, as
Freyne.
if it's kind of like frame, but with an N. So it's frame, but
you get a signature frame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, oh. Heaps of people have been fucking that up for a long time.
Yeah, Freyne.
Spelt kind of weird.
Patrick Freyne. Well, dude, here's my official welcome to the podcast, Pat. I feel like we've been talking about doing this for a year at least.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Been a minute for sure.
So, how was your day, dude?
It was pretty mellow. I kind of did fuck all today. I was doing a bit of editing this morning. Shot an event over the weekend for a client. It's they're like a realty group here in LA, and they have a music wing and then a film wing. So I did a private event thing for them. Just been editing, and then this morning had to go do some content for a coffee client that I've got.
Hell yeah.
Not this one, but Offset Coffee Roasters here in El Segundo. So I used to work for them as a roaster and in the roastery department for a while when I first moved out here. And then, I just picked up their content retainer maybe 2 months ago.
Good for you.
I've just been kind of kicking away on that.
What do you have to provide to this coffee company in exchange for what?
Just reels and photo stuff. I run the Shopify backend, update the Square menus. There's I kind of have a laundry list of stuff that I got to jump on now that I just started with them. I picked up the thing a month and a half ago, and then just been chipping away, about to reshoot all their menu items. Just do if they have a new single origin bean coming out, shoot a promo for that. So it's nothing too stressful. There's not in the contract, we don't have a set amount of deliverables because they're pretty good friends of mine.
Nice.
So I'm on call somewhat, but it's pretty much just 10 hours a week, just kind of knock out the day and then chuck
That's
it up.
ideal. Do you have to do the posting on socials?
Yeah. I usually jump on and just do a bit of social engagement before I post and after I post. But the last week I've just pretty much scheduled everything and just kind of let it do its thing. Yeah. But unfortunately nowadays it's Instagram's so iPhone heavy. It's that stuff will get picked up by the algorithm and it'll just run with it. You can put all this effort into taking a real camera out and filming all this shit and it gets 80 likes. And then I've kind of figured out a hack where if the opening clip's an iPhone clip, then the rest of the stuff's on camera. On the reel, the iPhone clip picks up in the algorithm well, and then you can have the Sony footage after it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. I posted a thing yesterday for a fall menu, seasonal thing. And it was just literally photos of coffee, of items or whatever. And the first clip is just a panning shot on an iPhone of a palm tree with some text over it. And then the photos after it, advertising the new menu or whatever. And it got 100+ shares and a few hundred likes. And it's kind of crazy. It's just, the iPhone stuff's way more preferred by the
I can sense that.
Instagram.
Yeah, our tech overlords.
Yeah. You'll see some dumbass come get ready with me shit, and it's a girl with a fucking iPhone putting on outfits, and then you'll see some crazy maybe not overly produced, but well produced commercial, and it gets fucking under 100 hits.
Yeah, nobody cares. That's
nobody gives a fuck. Yeah.
It's so crazy the difference between like, you know, something's good, but like you also know at the same time that good thing isn't gonna perform well on Instagram.
Yeah,
So
literally.
it's a nightmare for like genuine creative people. It's just like, how do you
you got to kind of figure out a way around it, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's cool. It's a good gig. How old are you?
I'm 29. Yeah.
You're a little baby, dude. No, little baby.
Yeah. I just look a little fucking whooped, mate.
It's lived a long life.
Kind of, yeah. From what I gather, you gave the old party bus a good run.
Yeah.
Early 20s too, and I pretty much did the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta take it for a spin, dude. I got this body. I should ruin it.
Yeah. In Australia, we kind of we run it like it's a sprint when it's actually a marathon. So
exactly.
You kind of turn 18 and just fucking hit it, and then But it was good. I think I needed that shit. It taught me some stuff about myself.
I remember that I actually went to Australia when I was 18, and I was blown away by the drinking age, and I got to go into a bar for the first time in my life and got hit on by an older lady. Then she asked me how old I was, and I was like, I lied and I said 20, which doesn't make it any better. And I said, well, how old are you? And she goes, old enough to know better. And I was like, oh, I should have lied and said 22.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, I can still smell him. You smell it, you fuck good boy.
Yeah, it's a cool, I don't know if it's cool, but there's a real big it seems like a big drinking vibe in Australia.
It is for sure. There's like a good, I think, like community wise, it's like it's good and bad. Obviously, there's like a upside to it, which I think is like real genuine friendships, and then there can be obviously a downside, which is if people take it a little too far, which they can do that anywhere in the world. But I feel like in Australia we're pretty good at pushing the limits.
How long have you been out here?
I moved here in 2020. Yeah, like literally like 3 months before the pandemic, and that was because of the missus. So yeah, going on 4 years married this year, and met her out here the first trip I came in 2017.
Dope. And then wait, did you do a long distance relationship for 3 years?
Yeah, we were friends for the first year. Like we kind of hit it off a little bit when I was here the first time, and then we like just stayed in contact or whatever. And then when I came back the second time, I was here for like 4 months, and then by the end of that, we were just like full blown dating. And then she came to Oz a little bit. I kept coming out here. I flew here like it was like 6 or 7 times or something between 2017 and 2019, and then just fucking at a certain point we were sort of like, well, someone's gonna have to send it, and I just moved here. Just didn't have anything set up, just fucking came.
That's amazing, dude. What the fuck?
It was a bit of I don't know, bit of a send, but it worked out for the better for sure.
That's I was just talking to Calvin about his send of just like, I'll move to California, and then he did it, and then you make it work, and it's a good decision. It's great.
It teaches you it taught me to hustle, because I lived in a fucking bubble before where like I worked in Oz, but I didn't work hard for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of easy to have a job at home and just cruise, and like not really have to like bust ass for it. You can kind of like get a part-time job, do 30 hours a week at a fucking coffee shop or pub or something, and just run it and ride all you want and save a bit of money if you need to. But like you can also just, you kind of just float around and do whatever. But out here, it's like, especially in LA, it's like a whole fucking different kettle of fish. You really got to hustle.
Yeah.
Like it made me at like 25 moving here kind of rethink my approach to life a little bit. I was like, all right, I got to get with it or get left behind.
That's interesting. I mean, tell me more about how it changed your mind moving here.
I mean, it's obviously like everything's expensive in LA. And then also like I'd studied photography in Australia, but I hadn't really taken it that seriously at school or anything like that. And it kind of dabbled, shot weddings and stuff like that. And then when I moved here, shot weddings for a little bit with Sean Moore during the pandemic. And then kind of started moving more into production through a mate that works out here. He's like a key grip. Nice. So I started picking up gripping stuff and photo assisting, and then now I'm like mostly photo assisting and doing lighting direction stuff, and then shooting a little bit as well, but working out of a studio here on the west side in Culver City called Summerjacks, which is owned by an Aussie chick. And just kind of making it work.
For people who don't know, what is gripping?
If you're a key grip, you're basically like, it's kind of glorified labor, but on a motion set. Like if you're on a music video, like a film or a commercial or something, you're basically rigging all the stands, rigging the lighting, and you're working underneath the gaffer, who like they're the, I guess you call lighting director on motion projects. And then in the stills world, the first assistant to the photographer has now in the last few years kind of become its own role into lighting direction. Like photographers are leaning on the first or the lighting director a lot more to have like a vision for like, they're like, hey, here's a reference. We need you to make that look like this. You know what I mean? So it's like, because maybe the photographer, especially like since the advent of stuff like YouTube and like people that pick up a camera and they're great with Lightroom or Capture One or Photoshop or whatever, in the commercial world, like there is a shit ton of photographers that really understand light and like really know what they're doing. But in this day and age, like with the younger generation, there's people who get on set who maybe are dope in post, but in camera are like baseline, you know, and they don't have a clue how to like achieve what they want. I got some friends out here that I work with that have been out here for like working for the last like 10, 12 years that I kind of work underneath. And they're like amazing, like unreal with light. Like they can just paint a scene with this, with lighting, you know.
It's incredible. It's a whole different ballgame. Like when you get into photography, you're like, okay, cool, composition, framing, stuff like that. But then when you get to the pro level, it's like light. That's the magic, you know.
100%. Like, and the lighting stuff. Yeah, I got a friend out here, Melissa Robinson, who I work under. Her Instagram's forever seen. She's from New Zealand. She skates. She's fucking coolest chick out. Like super down to earth. But working on like super crazy stuff with her, doing lighting, and we're like just working on celebrity shit. And she's really well known in the lighting world now, and she's started to come up in the last like 12 months as a lighting director. And then there's another like, older dude who I work with who's been here. He's like born and raised in LA. His name's Byron Nickelberry, and he's like, again, like kind of like a little bit of like a Tony Hawk of light, if you will, like in LA. Like he's one of the most busy lighting directors around, and he's super good at what he does. Like does a lot of like Rolling Stone covers and movie key art covers and stuff like that.
It's dope. That's crazy that you're like entering that world. I mean, you've been in it for 4 years kind of, but you're still just getting involved.
Yeah, finding my bearings. I didn't work in it for the first 2 years because I didn't get my green card until the start of 2022. So I was kind of like working under the table for a little while. I was just like figuring shit out, working construction with some mates here in LA, and just like doing whatever I could get my hands on. And then, I started to dabble, but I've been full-time freelancing creative since last December, which has been cool. Because before that, once I had my green card, I was doing coffee stuff to like supplement like the lighting stuff. Cause I was obviously finding my own work, you know, as a freelancer. So you can't just like dive in and make 100 racks, which still haven't. But like, the day rates are definitely all right. Like once you get in there, and I made it work since December. So freelance has been pretty good so far.
Yeah, dude. 10 months. That's not nothing for sure.
Yeah.
That's
for real.
Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more thrilling and more fulfilling when you're doing your own thing. I did it for a year. I did fairly good. And it was a lot more work than like a salary job, but it felt better, you know, felt like you're
I think it's fulfilling. And it's kind of like, I look at the way I'm working now, like similarly, not to be fucking cliche or nothing, but sort of like BMX, you know, like you have waves with shit, like where everything works out and you film clips a lot. I'm getting work a lot, and it's like I'm learning new tricks with lighting, and I'm like super stoked on what I'm doing, or the jobs are good, or the paychecks are good, or I'm traveling or whatever, because you kind of can travel a little bit with it with commercial projects. Yeah. But then it's sort of like kind of, and then there's like there's like peaks and troughs. Like I'll be flat out for like a month or two, and then it'll kind of die off, and then pick it back up. But when it's quiet, I can ride, so it's kind of works out pretty good.
A good trade-off. How often have you been riding lately?
Probably like 3 or 4 days a week at the moment. The last two weeks have been quiet, but before that I was working like 4 or 5 days a week. So it was like I usually get out at least like 2 days a week to ride.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, just kind of been riding with the Colt guys a lot lately. Working on a video part with Bentian. Just started working on a thing with Eddie for Colt.
Sick.
And then we're about to go to New York for Dots. So
that's exciting. Yeah. I'm not going to Dots.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other week.
Yeah, I was very excited to do it, and I said I was going to do it like a month ago, but then can't afford it. It's fucking expensive.
It's fucking expensive, bro.
Can't afford it, brothers, but that's all right. You guys have, that's the power of the internet. I can just watch the YouTube videos.
Yeah. It's I mean, it'll be fun. I'm grateful. Robbie's got us all going out there for a cult thing, so we're just gonna like
it's gonna be dope.
Shoot a photo book. We'll film a video. I think it's gonna be like classic cult situation. There's gonna be like fucking 15 people, so
Yeah.
it'd be pretty easy for us to get something together. That'd be cool.
Airbnb probably, right?
Yeah, I think we're staying like the Brooklyn side of the bridge somewhere. I don't really have the details on it. They just told me the dates, and I was like, "Let's get it, boys." Pretty much it.
Dude, someday before I die, I'll make it to New York with my bike. That'll be fun. Just like I don't even care. I mean, I care about the event, but it just like the idea of like pedaling around New York City on my bike. That's like a bucket list thing.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking right there. Like it was bucket list shit the first time I went. Like when we went with went to the last one in the streets with OSS, where I was still filming for that DVD.
Yeah,
Domino, and that was fucking next level. Like I was just like kid in a candy store, walking outside of the apartment and just being like, fuck, like, because where I'm from in Australia, in Melbourne, it's like real metropolitan. Like LA doesn't really have a downtown, as like it does, but it's not like a city, you know, like it doesn't feel like you're in a city. Whereas like New York is just kind of feels like where I'm from at home, but on steroids. Like you just pedal out and there's fucking coffee shops and bars and spots and restaurants, and it's just like it's all there. You know, you can kind of just cruise for 10 hours a day and not be smoked. You're still excited to kind of get in the cut and like figure it all out and see.
There's something about it. It's like the energy of the city.
Different energy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
being around that, man, it must be like the amount of people. I think when you feed off of each other, like when you're around people, you get juiced up.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I mean, it kind of, I think also the energy thing, pedaling around a city like New York, like you got to be switched on if you're weaving in and out of traffic, because you're also not trying to die.
Yeah.
So it's like, like if you're pedaling flat chat through traffic and like someone pulls out in front of you, sort of like, fuck. But it's probably a little bit of adrenaline where you're like on the whole time, you know? But
just fucking, adrenaline's the right word. I'm curious about like I guess your earlier days, like well, I guess we can work backwards. 2017 was your first trip out here. What was that trip for? Was that for a company or something, or just on your own dime?
It was on my own dime, but I was riding for Colt through the distro in Australia. So we filmed Focalpoint alive and well in 2016. And right as we started filming that, really, I'd like sort of, fuck, what was that? I was 2016. I was 23, 24 at the time.
Little kid.
Yeah, and I was like 21 actually. I'm fucking talking shit. I was born in 1995. Terrible at math, but yeah, and we were filming Focalpoint alive and well. I got hooked up through Colt through the distro in Australia, which was like through the bike shop Strictly BMX. It's like still kind of around now. It's changed hands a couple of times since then. But I got hooked up through them. We filmed alive and well, and then once we finished the DVD and we had like the premiere and all that shit, I basically was just talking to Robbo on Instagram and was like, hey, I'm gonna just come out. And he was like, yeah, sweet. Like, I think the dates I was coming, they weren't going to be here because they were on a trip or something. But they linked me up with Adam McCarty, and I was like going to stay at his house. Nice. And then right before I was coming, he like had something go down. I think he broke up with a girl or something he was dating at the time.
Oof.
And then it was like he was living with Chief Brando or something, and I was supposed to stay with them. And then it fell apart like 2 days before I was coming. And then I hit up Cooper Brownlee and was like, hey, do you know anyone in LA? I need someone to stay with, and he put me in touch with Barney. Do you know Barney?
Yeah, I know Barney.
Yeah. So I'm actually in the room I used to stay in at Barney's house when I traveled here, because this Barney owns the house I rent. So my wife is his wife's sister.
Wow, the hell yeah! So you're basically related to Barney.
Yeah, so me and Barney are like, we went from being the homie. We went from being a dude I'd never met to picking me up from LAX and just being like, oh, hey, tall Australian guy, get in the fucking car.
Yes.
And then fast forward to now, and he's family, you know, which is crazy. But he's a G. He's the best dude. Yeah, he's fucking super solid human being, Barney. So
it's almost to the point where like he's so nice, and like I've never heard anything bad about him, but I'm like, but there's got to be a bad side, you know? He's got to fucking snap sometimes or something. He just seems so fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he'll throw a black if he has to. But no, he's a super solid dude. Yeah, don't have a bad thing to say about him. He's super selfless, and but definitely let the fury out on the bike a few times for sure.
let's talk about, I mean, getting involved with Alive and Well and Focalpoint and Cooper, and just like kind of, I guess like it's weird to call it this, but just that would be making it in the scene in Australia. I guess like having a part in a video like that is a big deal, but it's weird to call it making it.
No, I mean like as far as like Aussie BMX, like Focalpoint was fucking peak for the longest time. You know, like, and it still is. Like FB is not as active now because the scene's kind of changed a lot. Like the scene at the moment probably is like bigger in Sydney or mostly Brisbane right now because Lux is like the biggest driving force in Australian BMX. Because like I've been here 5 years, but I try to be as tapped in as I can. Like I'm not gonna like fully claim like I know everything that's going on in Australian BMX because I'm kind of far removed from it at this point. But I do stay like tapped in with younger kids and shit like that. But yeah, like growing up, I grew up like a bit out of Melbourne. And I sort of like knew of Coops and all, like Marnold and Cooper, Jack Kelly, like all those dudes were like a couple years older than me. But I kind of started I think I hit up Coop on, would have been Facebook or some shit like that. Like as a little kid, like I would have been like 15 or 16 and been like, hey, can I ride with you guys? Nice. And basically just like linked up with him in the city or met. I don't remember how the first time I met him. I think the first time I hung out with him, actually, they came out to where I was from, which was like, I grew up like in the city. And then when my parents split, moved out of the city to like kind of like an hour and a half sort of outer suburbs type of joint.
Yeah.
Called Warrior, which is a shitty little town. But they actually came out there, I think, if I remember right, to like ride a spot. It was like a handrail school or something.
Yeah. Did that city have spots?
Not really, but there was like a few. This was still the era of rails to grass, so
yeah,
some big rails to grass in my town. So I showed him around, I'm pretty sure, and then just kind of became friends with those guys. And then I was riding with. Do you ever heard of Lockie Swanton?
Yeah,
the big ginger dude, super good at rides and stuff like that. Rode for Kink for a while, like through Australian distro.
Yeah, Lockie
was kind of like how I got like properly tapped in with those guys because he was dating a girl that like lived nearby me at some point and pretty much like started riding with me, gave me pegs for the first time, like got me off a fucking park bike and got me all clued up on that shit.
It seems like you were a park guy turned street. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I grew up riding skate parks and like trying to three whip fucking resi spines and shit like it, but I think that was just an Australian thing, you know what I mean? Like like that was the shit. I had a mate who I grew up with named Chris Nickel, and he was like super good at park stuff, and then another homie Dean Anderson, who Dean still sort of rides. Chris rides a little bit now but not as much, but he was on hire through Australia through this Aussie distro, and then he rode for like a brand called Vocal BMX at one point, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, Nickel had like, when we were young, like he was super good riding all the feast contests and shit. And he had like Alex Colborne stay at his house and like Harry Main stay at his house. And I just remember being like super young and just being like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, that's amazing.
You guys are here. Like, this is crazy. Like, we're not even in like a nice place to ride. Like this.
Yeah.
Fuck, you know? So,
that's a whole different scene thinking about that world, like park riding, tech, lip trick type of world. It's an interesting thing. So like back then, how old are we talking, and why did you first start riding? Probably the same old story, you know, friends or whatever, but like, is there something that you first saw, like your first early influences?
Props Mega 205 was the first BMX DVD I owned.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, but before that I skated. So I picked up BMX at like 15 pretty much roundabout.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'd like fucked around on bikes before that. I think I had like a mongoose or something, but I was primarily skating, like mostly. So I was a heavy skate and mostly skating bowls until I was like 15. And then all my mates at school got bikes, and the skate park was across the street from the school. Mm-hmm. And then we would be there at like 8 o'clock every morning for the first hour before we go to school or whatever. And eventually I twisted mum's arm and was like, hey, I need a bike because everybody else has a bike and I want a bike real bad. And then fast forward 14 years, I'm the only cunt that still rides it. And it took me to the other side of the world. But yeah, pretty crazy turn of events. I'm fucking 30 in January and now I live in LA because of it. So it's sort of like,
it's wild, right?
You never know, man. Like you kind of got to grab the shit by the horns and see where it goes, right?
Mm-hmm. It changes, I think, all of our lives. Like it's so crazy how much I'm pretty sure most people listening can relate to that. Just being the last one still riding out of the original friend group. Like everybody's off doing a business or starting a family or whatever, and I'm still like, I like bikes. This episode is brought to you by Burn Slow. Go to burnslow.co. Get yourself this shirt. I've been stopped more times than anything else. It's just Burn Slow vertically, and then beautiful, unique, reliable, nice, slow, loving, odd, and wise. And it's been a champion of a shirt in my life. So go to burnslow.co and get yourself some stuff. Thank you for supporting the show. Burn Slow. That rhymes. Let's go. Dance Comp is the world's fastest BMX mail order. All over the world. You need a bike part? Dance Comp has got you covered. Use promo code Kanode and get yourself 15% off. I am personally getting some Colt plastic pegs this week. Very excited about that because I haven't had new plastic pegs in a hot minute, and those things get worn down real quick. Did I mention use code Kanode and go to dancecomp.com and get 15% off and support them because they support the show? And let's get back to the show.
Yeah, literally, like that's kind of me. Like I have that mental battle all the time, like because I'm starting to get more thinking of what I'm doing, like freelance photo and lighting and shit, like as a career, you know what I mean? But yeah. I'm forever having this battle, and I work with like a close friend of mine, Darren, who's this photographer, and he's always saying like, don't give up the bikes, dude. Like it's who you are. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I gotta fucking grow up sometime. And he's like, don't do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to, but like there's this voice in here that keeps telling me to fucking grow up, stop being a pussy. But I think being a pussy would be walking away from it too, you know? So
yeah, it is weird, dude, because I've been trying to deal with that for it's been 6 years of me contemplating that, and I just kind of go in waves of like, all right, I'm still fucking in it, I'm doing it, and then I'll go in waves of, like you said before, it's just everything's a wave. So I'll never fully write it off. I'll never be like, that's it, I'm retired. But I try not to beat myself up if I'm in an era of not riding. Like for me, it's been like 2 months since I've ridden my bike trying tricks. Take my dog for a bike ride every night, but I'm out of practice for sure.
I mean, it's like anything, man. And I think the beauty of it is it's like something for everybody. Like it's kind of like skate in that sense. Like, and I think the industry and the scene is starting to represent that better now than ever before. Like it was like shit, like skate and BMX was always like so diehard, and it's like if you're not in it, you're not in it. Like, but now it's like you can dabble in it if you want, you know. And I mean, I think I'm still pretty in it. Like I'm trying to film video parts still, and
you're definitely in the thick of it.
Sense. But I do feel like I'm doing it, like maybe not at the moment, but like there was a period last year where I was like working heaps, and I was maybe riding like once a week, and when I was riding, I felt like garbage on my bike, and I was like, fuck, like I'm fucking washed up at 28.
I'm losing it.
Yeah, I'm like, God damn it. But then now I'm feeling pretty good the last few weeks. I'm like on a bit of a roll. But like you said, it's fucking peaks and troughs, man. Like it's gonna come around.
It's wild.
It's like you see people like Ryan Mills is a fucking sick example of like BMX ain't dead. You know what I mean? Like Mills was gone and he was not touching it, and he came back and he's filming video parts, and it's what you make of it. Like you can, if you want to do it, you'll do it, you know?
Exactly. And I think it's amazing how fast it goes away. Like, how long do you think until you start losing your skills on the bike? How long can you like take off the bike and then hop on and still go get a clip, or like a difficult thing?
I don't know. I'd have to test it out. I don't really want to test it out. I don't know. It'd probably be like a couple months at least, because I feel like the last time I got properly hurt, I didn't ride, like separated my shoulder in like 2022. Didn't ride for like probably like 2 months almost. But when I got back on it, it was just like felt like I hadn't left, you know? Like I think it's got to be a while before you like, you lose the muscle memory or whatever for certain things. But at the moment, like, tricks at the moment feel pretty. I'm on a decent roll at the moment. Like feel good on my bike and shit. So
good for you.
Yeah,
knock on wood.
Feeling consistent. Hopefully, don't eat shit.
Yeah, that's the other piece. Is just like the risk. I was just talking to my girl last night because she does roller skating, and like, she's just like battling. I don't really want to go risk getting hurt because then I won't be able to work. But but I miss it and I love it. The weather here sucks. We had a whole conversation. I was like, don't feel bad. I haven't done it either in a minute.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I guess when you're like at a certain age, you're like weighing up the work factor. I definitely weigh up the work factor, like from time to time. Like it'll depend, like how deep am I on whatever I'm trying to film for or whatever, and then like can I afford to not work next week? Like, you know,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's like, am I in a position where if I miss a week, I'm chill, you know? But if like next week's a fucking big commercial job, like, all right, I got to be dialed for that. Maybe don't fucking go grind a fucking 18 stair rail today, but maybe like next week, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just, I think it's funny, like looking at it from that perspective, but I think it's, you just kind of like looking at it differently as you get older. And then currently, like, there's dudes, I don't think there is an end to it. Like, I kind of thought cap was like 30, you know, because like growing up in Australia, like everyone sort of fades out by 30. Not everybody, but like a lot of dudes like I grew up looking up to, like JK don't really ride no more. Jack's because of his knees, but like Marno don't ride no more. DJ's knees are fucked too. Coops is like damn near fucking. Coops is like 42 now. Like Coops is mostly playing golf. Who's gonna hate me for saying
my
that?
guy, dude. Shout out Cooper and golf. That's fire.
you gotta get Brownlee on the podcast, man. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
He's a man of few words, but you should at least fucking. I'll twist his arm. Maybe you can get him on here.
Sure.
Yeah,
I believe I've asked him, but I don't know. I don't know. I definitely have talked to him in the past, so we'll make it happen. I was gonna do that. I was gonna do each episode. You tell me who's next. So you just did it. Cooper's next. We'll set something up with Cooper.
You're done now. You don't have a choice. Cool. On the internet.
But yeah, like back then, or not even too long ago, 30 was fucking old. And now I don't know what changed, but like look at Corey and Nathan and fucking
Nate is a fucking insane example of it. Or Garrett's in like his mid-30s, you know what I mean? Like Gaz is like
still young as hell
or something. Like there's no end to it. Or like and fuck, dude, Biz, like fucking
exactly.
Biz is like a crazy example of it, and he's funny.
56 years old. It's crazy.
Yeah, Biz is like 40 something, and he's still doing fucking hop whips on his birthday. Me and Biz have the same birthday. He can hop whip every time. I fucking can't. Like,
shit.
Like I can whip off a curve. I can't whip on flat ground. And he's just like, you're a bitch. Like, I'm 43, motherfucker. Like,
dude, he's a good shit talker.
Yeah, for sure. Biz is the man. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
injuries suck. Where are we? Let's see. I want to keep it about you and your youth. And
Focalpoint. So so it was like, I guess like I was pretty juiced when the opportunity came up to film for Alive and Well, which was like we filmed over the daylight savings period of like 2016 or 17. Can't remember exactly which year it was. What does that mean?
Daylight savings.
Daylight savings is like, you guys don't have it in Arizona, but we have it here in California still too. Like where you switch the clock forward for summer.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I thought maybe it was a different thing in Australia or something.
No, same shit. Like it just starts at a different time of the year because like we kick on it October 4th, I think, in Melbourne, and it stops in like March, like the first week of March or February or some shit.
And that's your guys' like
summer, yeah, which is the flip. Crazy. So other hemisphere, toilets flush the other way, all that Simpsons shit.
Yeah.
But so we did like 6 months filming for a DVD. We filmed a whole DVD. Everybody had like a 5-minute-ish part. We had a premiere at a bar in Melbourne. Like, and to me, like that was at the time, like, you know, that was making it. Like you said, like I was 100%. Like fucking juiced. My family showed up. Like,
it's amazing.
Yeah, like I will never forget, like, because I think my dad he was a team sports guy, so he'd always had a hard time like understanding the BMX thing. And then once we had the premiere, I remember him saying like, I get it now.
Hell yeah.
Because there's a bar with like 400 people all fucking screaming at a projector on the wall. He's like, this makes sense. I'm like, cool. I'm like, oh yeah, he gets it.
I'm glad you saw it. That's amazing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that was pretty special. And that was a cool one. Yeah.
Were you always team sports? And then you had a moment with your dad where you're like, I want to.
I was basketball until I was like 17. Yeah. I was like pretty heavy basketball. I was playing for like the state I was from and all that type of shit. But then at a certain point, I had a coach press me because I kept showing up with my shins all fucked up from learning tail whips. Yeah. And he was basically like, you can't keep coming to training like, you're like bleeding and shit. You got band-aids all over you and stuff. And I was just like, well, I think I'm gonna stay doing that.
Fuck you. That's
I remember like dad wasn't too stoked. Mom didn't really give a shit. My parents were separated or whatever, but they were I remember kind of having to talk to dad and just being like, I'm not gonna play team sports anymore. And he was like, you're gonna hang out at the skate park? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, righto. So all right, wasn't too pumped, but I mean, I don't really remember. And I mean, it's like it is what it is, you know. But from a parent's perspective, you probably at the time, it would have looked, you know, doesn't really look super
like,
hot as a
what are the
17-year-old kid. Yeah, exactly. What are the odds?
Like I can, this is the most relatable thing I've ever fucking heard. Cause like when I was 16 or 17, I ate shit at the dirt jumps right before basketball practice, went and I was a bloody mess at basketball. And then like shortly after that, I was like, Dad, you know, I think I'm going to quit basketball and ride my bike. And he was like, what the fuck?
Like, yeah, literally. Exactly like, I totally respect the opinion too. Cause I was hanging out with not the nicest people at that age, I'll say.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I was like starting to smoke cigs and dabble in whatever else around the same time, you know, which I don't, thankfully now I don't smoke cigs anymore. But yeah, at 17, I probably was walking around thinking I was a lot cooler than I actually was.
100%.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, pretty relatable. But yeah, so back to the DVD. So yeah, we did the Focalpoint DVD. That was pretty sick. We traveled a little bit for that in Australia. Croops put us on some trips, which was like, that was fucking crazy. Like just being able to go on a trip. And granted, we were spending our own money on some of them, but Croops would do his best to like, you know, put us in the van and take us to a different city. Or like we did a trip to Sydney and we did a little trip, me and Alex Bolton and him, to Canberra for like a little bit. And he would just pay for the hotel and take us out filming for a week basically. So like, you know, as we said before, it like felt like you'd made it. Like that was peak at the time, you know, like felt like super juiced to just be out there doing the shit. And then I started trying to come out here because I figured like I was riding for an American brand, and I always knew like I was never gonna like, you know, end up on Red Bull or something. Like I think I was like pretty aware of that, but I was like, like fuck it, I'm just gonna run this shit and see how far it goes, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And just like see how, and I mean, it's like never taking a check for it, but still to be doing it like at this point at almost 30 and getting paid to shoot photos for BMX stuff, you know, at least like shot the photo book on that Germany trip, or it's kind of taken a little bit of a different form to maybe what 15-year-old me was hoping for, but like still happy to be doing it and getting in the van. And at the end of the day, like I'm still just pumped to, if I get a clip, I'm stoked. Like I'm as stoked as the first clip I ever got. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't really go away, I think. And it's a bit of a selfish endeavor or whatever when you look at it from that perspective. But at the same time, it keeps you from like, I don't know, being depressed maybe.
For sure.
Like I don't know, like put stuff in perspective. Like if it helps, I don't know, it helps me get up in the morning. So fuck it. You know what I mean?
It's one of the things in life that it's just like it doesn't necessarily make the most sense to like pursue BMX, but if you fucking like doing it, you should just enjoy doing it. And
that's what I mean. Like, I think to the everyday person, they're probably like, you guys are fucking nuts. There's no money in this shit. Like, what's the point? But I mean, for those that can make a living off it, I tip my hat to you. But like, fuck it. I've got some plane tickets and free bikes for the last however many years. So like, I'm stoked on that, you know, and like happy to be out in the streets, hanging out with my friends and shooting photos. And if it wasn't for BMX, I would have never picked up a camera or ended up on set even, because like the friend who I work with out here originally like rides. So I was like, you know, it's just a huge network of people. Plus like how the fuck, what other thing can you, and it's again, like you've heard this a million times over, but what other thing can you go anywhere in the world and just have a point of connection with somebody? You know what I mean? Like I got friends from other sides of the world that we can barely fucking communicate. But we can show up at the spot and someone pulls something and we're still hyped. You know what I mean? Like everybody's still stoked, and you might not necessarily be able to like speak to each other, but you still like understand what's going on, and that level of like excitement is still there, and that's communicating enough, you know? But
tell me a story. What's the are we talking Barcelona where you can't talk to somebody? Who's your
had some Japanese friends in Australia that I met a couple of times. This kid Takudo, who I had could not speak to him at all. Another homie who was in Melbourne. Melbourne always had like out of towners coming in and out. And when I was like living right in the city, I would kind of like, I was working at City Park in Melbourne, which is called Riverside. And it was like for the YMCA. So I would be like working there, and it was kind of like a bit of a hub. Like you'd meet people that like were just in town, because that'd be like the easiest spot to get to or something. It's kind of like, I don't really know of a reference here in LA, but it's like going to Cherry Park in Long Beach. Like you just, if you were from out of town and you rode, you'd show up because you knew you'd fucking meet someone, you know? But another friend, Mathieu, who was French, when I first met him, like he barely spoke any English, and we rode together for like 2 or 3 weeks, like flat out, could not, like we were Google translating to each other, like had no fucking clue what was going on, like. No, but I think that's cool, you know, just to be able to like. Cool. At the time, it was still like we were just hyped, like we were going to the bar and fucking Google translating on the phone to each other to figure out how to talk.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it kind of makes you realize. Like, you don't necessarily need to talk to be friends with somebody. You could just like feel and just be there and do some stuff. It's fine. I had a couple friends stay on my couch. Arnaud Wolf, like 10 years ago at this point, stayed on my couch for like a month. He came when he didn't know any English, and then he came a couple years later when he knew a bunch of English, and it was cool to see the Frenchman grow up a little bit.
That's pretty tight. Yeah, I've even had shit like that with fucking Yama and Mickey when they first started coming out. Like, they'd be speaking straight Spanglish. I'd be trying to speak the 4 fucking Spanish words that I know to them, and we would have the most hilarious conversations.
Hola, mi amigos.
Yeah. Or like, you know, we actually had a funny one just in Germany in June or whatever for Hammer and Nails. It was like me and Yama like dip out to go grab some food, and we pull up at a kebab shop across the street from the Airbnb, like fresh off the train. Like, we just come from the airport, and we're like, you want to get food? And we're like, yeah, fuck it. So we go across the street, and then we walk in, and then we realize, like, as soon as we go to order, I realize I don't know any German, like at all. And I look at him, because he's usually the point of reference if we're outside the country. And he looks at me and goes, I speak Spanish, bro. And I was like, he's like, we're fucked. And I was like, oh, God damn it. Like, we are fucked. Like, I don't know anything, and you don't know anything either. So we were just like trying to not be rude and like trying to point out what we needed. And the guy like didn't speak any English, which I was like, not to be the fucking ironic white guy, but like, yeah, I was like, damn, this guy knows no English at all. Like, I was like, fuck. So we're really just trying to like make it work. But you figure it out, you know what I mean? But it is pretty just funny.
Make a picture or fucking point or
well, thank fuck for phones. Like, imagine how screwed you'd be before technology. Like, you'd just be standing there like, got to fucking like, you know, just point at shit and make hand signals and hope I don't get punched in the face. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's pretty funny.
I'm curious about your, I guess, photography journey. Like, what was your first camera and why?
It was a Canon 600D. And it was to film with, actually. But nice. I got it, I think it was like, been watching Focalpoint videos growing up, like The Waiting List and all the Coops, like older shit, Box Hill Pride and all that stuff, which they were probably filmed on VXs, honestly. But I got a Canon 600D when I was like 16, 17, something like that, and just chopped a fucking fisheye on it and took it to the skate park. And we had a little crew, like at one point, the area I was living in was called Gippsland. We had a little thing called Gippy Crew, so we were just like throwing shit on YouTube. I think it's still up there, which is pretty garbage. But
how do you spell Gippy?
Gippy, Gippy Crew. Which this is kind of I opened my mouth. Shouldn't open my mouth. Dude, dig up some fucking serious archival shit here. But so we were doing that stuff, just filming like little mixtapes at the skate park or whatever, and like figuring it all out. Oh fuck, here we go.
DVD promo. We're not gonna have any
DVD that never happened.
Did you edit this? Oh yeah. If you've never made a DVD promo for shit that never came out, then you don't know.
Yeah, for real. We like filmed this. We were all gung ho like one summer, and then it was like right as I turned 18, and we were all like, "Yep, we're fucking doing this." We like went on a couple small trips, filmed some stuff. Like, we were just kind of figuring it out, and then it never went anywhere. Like, a couple of us stopped riding. I definitely stopped riding from like 18 to like 21. I was at university and just fucking partying and shooting nightclub photos with DJs and
nice
being a fuck up for a little bit. But that was like the local skate park or whatever. There's baby me. But but these dudes, like some of these guys still ride. This is like dudes I grew up with. Classic Rail to Grass.
The classic sun flares on the B-roll.
Yeah, I'd like learned how to use iMovie and was just fucking sun flaring the shit out of everything.
Yeah, I do. The first time you learn how to do it, it's like, this is fucking sick.
Yeah, and like, you know, just like being young kids too, like 17, 18, you're just like, yep, we're doing this shit. We're gonna figure it out.
Tapes? No.
That's the homie Mickey Layton, who he's like, dude, some of the guys I grew up with, because they're all like real park heavy, like Ben Elman, like all these dudes fucking ripped for sure. Like Mickey Layton had him in particular had like one of the best fucking inverts I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah,
dude. That was
he's
definitely
fucking mean, bro. Like, but yeah, we were just out, like, you know, doing Daniel Lockie again, like another local hero type of dude. Like, he was just super good. Like, rode for LKI, like Loose Kid Industries. I don't know if Lockie ever had like a real bike company sponsor, but yeah, it was just, those were like the local dudes that I kind of grew up looking up to.
There?
Yeah, I think it was.
There we go. There's Baby Pat.
Yeah.
Baby Pat in the Bulls jersey, dude. Yes. On a beverage frame?
Yeah, the Tony Maloof.
Sick. Fuck yeah.
But, yeah, pretty crazy. But yeah, all these dudes ripped, you know, and it was kind of just like, Australia's full of people that fucking rip. Like, it's, yeah, all this is complete garbage. You can stop doing me like this now. Actually,
it is not garbage, dude. It's fucking awesome.
That little Sunday mixed up video in the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
That ended up on, I remember we were like so gassed at the time because that ended up on the come up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember who posted it, but someone took that Sunday mixed up video and like they shared it on, because we didn't send it. That was the other thing. That was a weird part. I think it must have ended up on Focalpoint or something, and then they must have seen it on there.
Yeah.
But they it ended up on TCU, and like I went to school the next day and was like telling my best mate I was fucking losing it. Like, I was just like, the fucking come up. Like, this is crazy. Like,
it is crazy.
You know, like, it's just, I don't know, shit like that. Like, as a kid, you sort of like, or a young dude like 10, 11 years ago, it's like, yeah, that was like, you know, that's what got you fucking stoked. It was like little moments like that where you're like, yeah, sick, this is all right. Yeah. And it gave you a little bit of juice to like keep it moving, you know? Yeah.
It's very cool to see the origins of you.
It's kind of, yeah, little add myself out. So none of my friends here know about this. This is kind of funny. Like, yeah, never told Began or none of these dudes about this shit because I was just like,
shout out Gippy Crew, dude.
Yeah, shout out Gippy Crew, dude. But yeah, so yeah, that was where it all fucking started, and then just yeah.
So all of these, like, you're filming it, obviously passing the camera to homies and stuff, but you're editing it all. You're editing it.
Yeah, I edited everything, which was like, again, pretty garbage. Didn't really like look into it too much. Was kind of just slapping it together. And the film burn thing was, at the time, everybody was doing it. So
that's around like the Stay Fit video.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of a good segue, really, because the most influential video for me probably ever was none other than fucking Calvin's Still Bleeding Black and Blue.
You know what I think is important? If you're in Arizona, you should support Unity Ride Shop. Unity Ride Shop. God damn it. You want to know what's cool about capitalism? Late stage capitalism. You can take a stab at doing anything, like owning a bike shop. And then if you do it right and do it well and people like you, you can succeed. So I want Unity Ride Shop to succeed because Randy's a good dude, the shop is a cool thing, and they sponsor a bunch of local riders, they put on events, they have all the stock you could ever ask for, and I think that you can make your community better by voting with your dollar. Support local businesses and support cool bike shops. And Unity Ride Shop is a cool bike shop, so, and they also support this show, so that's pretty cool too. Yeah, 43rd Avenue in Bethany Home on the southwest corner next to the grocery store. And yeah, get in there and get some stuff. Get in there and get yourself some wax. If you don't have that much money, go buy some wax from Unity. You can support them. The dude's making his own custom wax in the back. It's pretty cool. And it smells good and it works well. Unity Ride Shop. Unity Ride Shop. Ow, my neck, dude. My neck hurts from carrying the weight of this whole operation. This is the first time I've done an ad for myself, but I'm still working on learning all this stuff, but I have a website where you can buy some Mediocre at Best stuff. So go to shopmediocre.com, and if you want to support Mediocre at Best, do that. We got a coffee mug, a couple of hats, t-shirts, but yeah, planning some merch for this show and some more fresh Mediocre at Best stuff before it premieres December 21st. It's becoming real. I'm editing the parts. I'm looking at it. I'm like getting stoked again. It's amazing. You work on something for 6 years. I've gone through waves of hating it and waves of loving it. And right now it's close to the finish line. It's banger season. Let's go. Go get a shirt. Shopmediocre.com.
Fucking Calvin's Still Bleeding Black and Blue.
Nice.
Which again, like yeah, 16-year-old kid. Fast forward, Calvin was the only Australian at my wedding, so which was like, yeah, but fucking small world shit. It's BMX, so it's tiny, but
That's
yeah,
incredible.
like, yeah. So I probably failed some fucking high school classes because of Calvin's video, because I was just glued to that shit for hours a day. Like, I was just watching Still Bleeding Black and Blue at the time because it was like so relatable. It was just like crew video, and yeah, Stibbids and him fucking killed it, and then it was like Still Bleeding Black and Blue was what put Cal on the map to come out here and all that type of stuff. So yeah, pretty crazy. But yeah,
go from being a local legend to Mr. Worldwide. Calvin's
Calvin's the man. Like, he's so like well spoken and just like a super solid, super humble dude. He's like he's real no bullshit, and I got a lot of time for people like that. Like, I've learned a lot from him about living here in LA for one. And then just like, you know, he's got a lot of life lessons, a lot of life experience, old Cal.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are kind of in similar positions with the work that you're doing too. Like, he's
totally.
Stuff like
I actually brought Calvin on for a music video and had him he like cam up for me, which was cool.
That's dope.
But yeah, I like directed the thing and he cam upped it with me, which was sick. But yeah, it's like, it is cool. And he's obviously like, he's so good at what he does behind the camera at this point. Like, I was just watching Citywide again earlier, and like the way he's it's unreal. Like, the way he's learned all the techniques, especially like with the frame rate stuff, like the way his videos look, like not a lot of people in BMX making stuff look cinematic right now. He's making it look fucking real cinematic. Like,
but he's not like, losing the like traditional sense of how to film and long, you know.
No. And he's
it in very tastefully.
Yeah, and he's like created his own style, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he just like, it's kind of built. Shimmer was another one from him that was like super iconic. Like, I still watch that all the time. Like, Shimmer was really good. And then obviously 30 was good. It was a bit of a mishmash because there was like lots of different people filming for it, but he held it down, and it fucking Nathan's section won an aura, so pretty tight.
You know,
exactly. Yeah, and as a fucking dude from Australia, like, it's for BMX industry stuff, like, that's pretty tight for people to like.
He's what you would call a sick cunt.
Exactly, he's a fucking sick cunt. But Australia gets slept on a lot. I know people say that all the time, like Aussies will always say that because it's like where we're from, but yeah, Oz definitely gets slept on in that sense. Like, there's so many people that are like really underrated bike riders that just do it for the fuck of it, and they don't really like post it on the internet, or they're not like in your face on Instagram and all that type of stuff, which like goes unnoticed, you know. But because out here, like especially in California, like everybody has an online presence.
It's just
like even like young kids, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like that's the path, because they grew up watching whoever, like the internet. Like, when Common Crew was cracking, it was like their reference was like whoever was before them. And then like nowadays, it's like kids aren't really filming videos, they're filming Instagram clips, and you kind of having to be like, yo, like, you guys should film a video, and they're like, why? Like,
for real.
Like, like, why? That takes too long. Like, I can't fucking run.
Where's the instant gratification?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a kid who's actually local-ish to me. This kid, Brad, who I've been riding with a little bit lately. He's like 17, but he's starting to like get it. Like, he's progressing really quickly, and he's like getting really good real fast. And he's sort of like investigating buying a camera and shit. I'm like, do that. Like, please do that. Because like kids of your generation are just like, park clip, Instagram.
Yep.
Why aren't I sponsored? Like, I can fucking flip a hard bar the same way that guy can. Why can't, like, why am I not?
Why am I not being brought on trips? It's like, dude, you got to get a camera and make your own trips.
Yeah. You got to like show you can. It's like the fucking homie edit is the job interview. You know what I mean? Like, in a weird way. Like, not to look at it from like a fucking, here's the playbook, kid, like fucking perspective. But like, there is sort of like a rite of passage, you could call it, maybe. Like, I don't know, without sounding like too much of a dickhead, but like, I think now it's like a bit of a blurred line for kids these days, because they don't really know how to get to where they want to go, you know, because there's too much fucking chaos and like distraction and whatever.
Or even what it's like to get where they want to go. It's like a made up place in their head. Like, there's some magical rainbow where people pay me a lot of money and take me to ride my bike, and it's just like, hey, that ain't it, dude.
Yeah, like, it's not really there, brother. Not to like burst the bubble or nothing. That's like I don't know. I feel like with the young kid I was just telling you about, like I tried not, I don't want to burst the bubble, you know what I mean? But it's also like, you should just work a job. Like it's always gonna, like BMX will always be there, like whether you want it or not. Like it's sick if you want to be a pro rider, and if you're actually good enough, sick, go do that. Like fucking how about it? End up on Monster, like get the check, whatever. But like for all the dudes that are like good enough to get a bike, but not good enough to get a paycheck, like get a job, my friend. Like, because there's a lot of them out. Like,
I'll
there's
never
a bunch
forget
of
it. And like, you could say that till your fucking face is blue, and kids won't hear it. Because I heard Kyle Carlson when I was like 21 told me the same thing. He said, "You're good, but don't quit your day job." And I was like, "Screw you, dude! I'm gonna fucking make it." And then you learn over the years, it's like, oh yeah,
yeah, for real.
That's pretty good advice. Don't quit your day. It's good to just like diversify. Fucking
yeah, straight up. And I think
do something in this
day and age
at the same time as this.
Yes, for real. And in this day and age, you can do whatever you want. Like, I'm not going to name names, but the biggest eye opener for me was like the first trip I came out here. I was staying at Barney's house, but then I also like did a few nights down at 666 Molino Ave, like in Long Beach.
Yep.
And I was staying there for a few nights, and there was like a couple riders in particular who were like top dogs at the time, and like they were sleeping on someone's floor, and that's where they were living. And I just remember being like, I was like 22. And I was like, hang on a second. I was like, these are the guys. Like, they're homeless. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was just like, this is not what I was sold on the internet. Like, Australia, like YouTube fed us like fucking. These are the big dogs, you know. And like, you know, they traveled the world and got on lots of trips. And I'm never gonna like shit talk them and take away from it. But like, from a reality perspective, it was like, hang on a second. There's no fucking pot of gold at the end of this tunnel, like, or rainbow. But yeah, that was like a massive eye opener when I was like, okay, I'm never gonna be that good. Like, I gotta hold it down and work a job whilst still doing this because I care about it, you know.
Exactly, and just do as much. Like I don't know. There's something you have to do it for the love of it. Like, think about people that are, dude, Corey Martinez and fucking Nathan Williams, the longevity, and Nathan's still going, still fucking putting out video clips. And it's probably like the psychology of it, just like, I can and I want to do something dope, so I'm gonna do it. But dude, I have to know who name names, because I'm picturing Tony Malouf's place at the 666. Rudy Garcia was there, but like if it's year 22, so that's 7 years ago, so that's 2017.
I think I don't want to name names, dude.
Give me just one name, dude.
It was Reed for sure.
It was what?
It was Reed for sure.
Reed, yeah.
Yeah, Reed was staying on like someone's floor, and I just remember being fucking mind blown. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's what this is?
That's it.
Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which, it's crazy. It's just part of the game. Like, you learn to make do with very little money while you're traveling. And Reed's fucking awesome at that.
Totally. Yeah, Reed's super good at it. He's a super nice dude, and he's like incredibly smart too. Like, he was like, I didn't realize he had like all that. I learned this later, but like didn't realize he had like, you know, he'd gone to university, and he went and gave like speeches about marketing at like Cal State Long Beach, all that type of shit. And he's super switched on, like really go get him type of dude. But yeah, at the time, like, I was being like a spring chicken and fresh off a plane, like, I've come to California. And then seeing him sleeping on the floor at someone's house, like that's where he was living. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this ain't. I thought everybody was driving a fucking Mercedes, like fucking Sean Ricani and those guys. You know what I mean? Like, I thought everybody was like bowling out, because like at the time it was like Recon and fucking Chad Curley and like all these dudes are like moving like, and they're flashing it, you know, like on the Stranger video and shit. And like Gabe's driving the fucking whatever it was, like GT Monaro fucking thing. And I'm like, all these dudes are killing it. Like, BMX is the fucking one. And then I got here and I was just like, hang on a minute. Like,
yeah, wait a second.
I need a job, because I'm not anywhere near the fucking caliber these guys are. Like, so but it is what it is. It's like kind of probably it's good for you to like get a bit of a reality check instead of being in dreamland all the time. Yeah,
and the other piece for that I would say to somebody is like the recipe for resentment is to just make it your entire life like hoping something happens, and then when nothing happens, you're just gonna be full of like saltiness, you know? Like,
totally.
You gotta fucking do other shit. Like, for us, the cameras came into play, which is like the most obvious thing to do. Like, if you like BMX or skating, and then you're filming doing that, like, you get good at both of those things, and then filming can pay way more than BMX can. So it's a good skill to learn.
100%. That's kind of like where I'm at now, is like Robo will throw me on a trip to shoot it, but I'm also like there to ride, you know what I mean? As long as I come back with enough shit to like have a photo book and like be like, hey, like this is worth spending the money on me going. Here's the tangible product that we can like then take and utilize with the video. Yeah. Like I did that. If I get to like film a few things on the side, that's fucking good enough for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm still in the van and like still on the trip and hanging out with all my friends.
And there's a little bit less pressure than if you're just the rider and you show up at a spot. But you can, if you're chilling, you can just be the photo guy. That's why I low key like being the filmer a lot, because I'm like, I don't feel like doing anything on my bike today, but I'm a good filmer, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel that for sure. Like my first experience doing it properly, like I fucking bit off way more than I can chew carrying the amount of gear that I took to Germany, bro. Like I was like, oh, like we're shooting a fucking photo book. Like I'm gonna take my fucking 600 watt strobes and like all this shit, and it was like 45 pounds on my back. Woof. And after like 2 days I was like, I'm fucked. Like I can't bunny hop properly, you know? So I was like, some days if it was like I knew someone wanted to get a trick, I'd like bring out the heavy shit, and then other days I'd just like bring out the light pack and like point and shoot or whatever and like figure it out. But yeah, for New York when we leave in a couple of weeks, like I'm gonna just take like a small kit, make sure it's like mobile, easy to move around with, like just little strobes, like nothing too heavy. Like,
you're gonna bring strobes though? That's what I was gonna ask. Is like, could you do the job with just natural light?
I mean, I probably could probably edit it, but I like strobe, like to kind of lead into like the BMX photography stuff. Like I've always grown up looking at like Z's work, so like Jeff Zielinski, fucking Greg Molitono.
Greg Molitono's phenomenal.
Greg's amazing, bro. And especially now, like I'm stepping into like shooting with medium format a lot more. And Greg's someone that uses that a lot with BMX, which is really fucking cool. Like, because it's a lot of work to understand how to shoot a medium format camera, and like you get a certain level of clarity out of it. But also just like syncing it all with the flashes and like understanding how to frame up with like, say like this thing here on my desk is a 6x9 rangefinder that I got like a couple weeks ago. So it like frames up kind of funny. Like it has lines that you need to like know how to use. And 6x9 is like the biggest format on 120 film. So per roll, I only get 8 exposures out of this thing. Huh. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. It's fucking expensive to like buy film and develop it and like do all that shit all the time. But the level of clarity you get out of one of those, like I've only just started fucking around with shooting BMX stuff with that thing. Like I started digital and flipped into film now.
Cool.
But like Greg's been shooting medium format BMX stuff with off-camera strobes for years. Like, and it's been really fucking cool. Like they did he did like a bunch of prints with With It when Benthian filmed that animal video With It. Like that was some of that stuff was shot on medium format, which was like super amazing, like black and white at night. Like there was some sick photos of Jimmer. I remember a couple of photos of like Hango and stuff like that. Like shit like that, like that scratches the same itch for me as like riding, you know what I mean? Like coming away and like shooting a fucking hammer and the photo's sick. Like that's just as good as landing a clip that day, you know?
100%. If it was easy, it wouldn't feel the same. Like especially making it harder and switching to film, and there's a bunch of different things to remember, and on top of composition and timing, like it's not easy to like. People are like, "Hey, what do? You just shoot photos?" It's like you don't know how much goes into getting a good photo, and you wouldn't even know a good photo if you saw one. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, and in this day and age, like everybody can shoot a photo, but like you learn little tricks here and there, and you get stoked out on it in the same sort of way, you know? Like but to come back to like it was like dudes I grew up looking up to was like Z, Greg, Fudger, more recently that Ben Gia,
he's sick.
Ben's amazing. Coops, obviously, like Coops was shooting heaps of stuff in Australia. Mitch Morrison was shooting heaps of stuff in Australia. Like we had 2020 BMX magazine. Like I got probably fucking 60 copies of that shit at my mom's house, like still just sitting in storage. Like
nice.
That was something that was like always like a talking point or like a drawing point, like growing up, was like having print media, you know, and then it went away for a little bit. Now it's kind of, we're bringing it, Paul and like I do stuff for Silent here and there. It's like we're bringing it back as best we can, you know, like Colt's doing that bit, like every trip we go on, we try and shoot a photo book. So it's like the print media stuff's coming back too, which is really cool. It is
cool.
I think BMX is in a good place right now because it's in the hands of people that give a fuck, you know, like there was probably like 8-10 years ago, like there was heaps of people that were just in it because it was like the in thing, and like the come up was popping and like all that type of stuff. And now it's kind of like people have fallen off, and it's just, if you're in it, you really give a fuck. And it's like the people that are doing it are like trying to start brands and start magazines and still like revive it almost, you know.
100%. So who do you think of when you think of that? Like who's somebody starting to start a brand?
Well, I know there's two things I know of that aren't announced yet. So, well, I mean, or even
cool.
Like, yeah.
No.
no, I'm not gonna air them out. But like, there's two things that are in the pipeline that I know, like that are like probably on the way to be. There's a couple things in the works that I know of people that want to start brands. And then like Urkani's doing the FTI thing. You know what I mean? And like, say what you will about that, like he's, I don't know, still putting fucking frames out. Like, doing something. Like, I'm never gonna hate on it, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't always agree with like everything he says sometimes, but like he's never done anything wrong by me, and he's always been polite and whatever. And we like, so it's, I think if you're willing to like put your own money on the line and like put your money where your mouth is, so to speak, like fuck it, like have at it, you know.
For real.
Because like people are going to be stoked on it, and there is a lot of people that aren't doing anything. They're just fucking standing around with their hands in their pockets saying the industry's dead and nothing's going on, and BMX fucking sucks now. And it's like, do something about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
dude, did you know Kelvin owns a distribution? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like there's people just doing, you know, they're just doing their shit. They're like trying to put it in the hands of bike riders, you know, like trying to just, and that's something like maybe one day, I don't know, I would investigate doing once I have a bit of like cushion money to like figure out something like that. I'm not in that position right now where I could like distribute something, but like trying to make BMX accessible is something that I'm always hopping on about to people in my like immediate friend group. Yeah. Like, because I feel like kids don't see it as something that they can just like grab a hold of nowadays. It is hard to learn how to fucking ride BMX. Like tricks are hard to learn. Super hard. I get it. Like if you're a fucking Fortnite kid, you come out one day, you get a shinny, you're trying to fucking like, you're a soft cunt. You know what I mean? Like you're a little kid. You're like, fuck this shit. I can't bunny hop.
They're starting to fucking fingerboard. Like fingerboarding is taking over the world in bike shops and all that shit. Like which is like, all right, dude, but like, get out there and break your fruit.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like fucking low hanging fruit. Like,
I sprained my carpal.
Yeah, but like not to be, you know, fucking old toxic guy, but like fucking harden up. Like go outside and bleed a little for it, you little pricks. Like, come on. But it's real, you know, like it's, I don't know. They're not kids aren't fucking made like they used to be, mate. Like,
you're goddamn right, brother. They don't make them out like they used to.
No, for real. It is it's a different time. But I think making it, doing a brand, doing like a distro, doing magazine, like Paul Robinson from Doomed, We the People at Claw, fucking Silent, the whole nine. Like Paul does like fucking 8 different things, and it moves quick. But like I got to take my hat off to him because he's like he's trying to do it, you know, like he's trying to make something that people can fucking subscribe to, buy, see. It's gonna start to become a thing where it's like, it even is now. Like they're starting to do Doom trips, they're starting to do silent trips, like they're starting to be able to like fund stuff back into it. Like I get a little retainer from them to shoot all the heavies content here in the US in the Doom stuff. So Paul kicks me a few $100 a month to just like, you know, sends the clothes, we shoot the stuff, like we put it out, like it makes it more tangible and like accessible to the American market. Like at first there was no distro for it here, and now we distro it through Colt. Like the stuff is coming around, and it's like street culture is starting to like bleed into BMX in the way that skate does. Cause like, I think Robbie said it recently on something, or where it's like the kids I think it was on the Peak Game thing that Steve did. Yeah. Like,
that shit was good.
Yeah, exactly. Like Robert needs to get on here and like have you on, cause he's got a whole ton of shit up his sleeve. Like he's got years and years of experience, you know? But like how kids in this day and age in BMX, like they got the kit, you know, like they got the fucking heavies pants, they got like the Doom shirt, they got whatever. And it's kind of becoming the same way as skate, where like you have the kit, but you also can ride the bike and like all that shit.
Yeah.
And it becomes more like it's a lifestyle, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it becomes like more of a lifestyle thing where you don't necessarily have to be like full like model, but like it has more of like a swag to the rest of like society. You know what I mean? Like people see that, like, oh, they're dressed cool and they're doing bike tricks. It's not like, damn, look at these hash ass dudes on bikes breaking everyone's property again. Like, it's the same thing. You know, it's just point. BMX is smaller than skate. Like people in skate are really into that, or like skate culture is fucking streetwear culture now. You know what I mean? Like, and that's bleeding into golf too, which is crazy. Like, I don't know if you're like super tapped in on golf streetwear.
I've been watching golf YouTube. YouTube.
So there's a company out here in LA that shoots out of the studio that I work at called Malbon. You heard of Malbon?
No, Malbon.
But they're making, like, I've shot like some e-com stuff for them, but they're making waves in like the golf wear community because they're doing like streetwear stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're like diving into it in the same way that like skate brands 10, 15 years ago were going into fashion. Golf brands are now doing that. Like the polo shirt and the fucking golf shorts are dead. Like it's like, yo, these dudes are like dressing kitted to the nines. And golf is also like an industry. Malbon, Malbon.
Malbon.
Bon, yeah. And they're making like streetwear type of shit, which is cool. Like the creative director over there, Luke's like a nice dude, and like the owner. There's like the owners live like out of LA somewhere, but like they're trying to do stuff. I don't play golf either, which is like hilarious, but I just know them because of work stuff. But like it's the same way, and like the difference is between BMX and that is like all the motherfuckers playing golf. They got money to throw at that shit.
Right. Yeah.
BMX
that is
kids.
The biggest difference. Yeah.
BMX kids ain't got the money to throw at stuff like that, you know? But like these people are trying to like, they're making that windbreaker thing that was shot at our studio on the right down, FootJoy. That stuff was like at Summerjacks.
Huh.
But yeah, so like, yeah, they're leaning into it a bit more, you know what I mean? Like it's
that's dope.
More of like a lifestyle thing. There you go, dude. Cool. I just put you on. You're about to blow a couple $100 right here.
Yeah, I know. I like
it. Thank me later, bro. I don't have a discount code, but maybe they'll thank me for making them some bread.
I like that. I like their cursive logo. That's a cool.
Yeah, but I think like on a way smaller scale, like this is kind of where BMX streetwear is going. You know what I mean? Because it's like how it was 15 years ago. Like Zoo York was in BMX. Like, well, now it's going to be like Doomed and Heavies, and Vans are kind of doing whatever they're doing. But like, or like Yama and Mickey just started Vita. Like that's like the most recent like really good representation of it. Obviously, Steve's been doing Peak Game for a long time, but like the BMX culture of clothing is like starting to bleed in a little bit, which I think the clothing is like the entry, is like the gateway to the bike. Sometimes is like someone might buy the t-shirt because they think the t-shirt's sick, and then they buy the bike after because they're like, oh, this is tight. I want to do whatever those guys are doing.
I got the Stasio shoes when I was in 7th grade, and I didn't even know what BMX was. And then I got into BMX 2 years later.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like LA is like a prime example. Like if you're in LA, like I'm forever on fucking jobs, bro, where I'm wearing a cult hat or a cult shirt, and I'm like on a fucking commercial for fucking, I don't know, like Nike or some shit. And someone's like, do you ride bikes? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, I saw the cult shirt. I used to ride bikes. I had like whatever in like 9th grade. And I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I still ride. Yeah, I'm like, tight. That's cool. You know what it is? Like, you know, there was a dude I actually met just recently who was on like a commercial for Sunbum sunscreen like a month ago. And this dude, Blake, was like, he's like the art director over there or some shit. But he like grew up with Fudger. Huh. Wow. Yeah, I was like wearing a cult hat, and he was like, "You ride bikes?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I saw the cult crew hat." Like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, "Yeah, I just got back into riding recently, but like I rode that new dirt park in San Marcos or whatever." I was like, "Cool. Who do you know down there?" And he was like, like Fudger." And I was like, "Yeah, I know Fudger." So that's crazy. That is crazy. I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." He's like, "Small world." I was like, "Hell yeah."
I think cult is probably the best example of that, breaking out of the BMX niche and into kind of the mainstream. People recognize it. Can you think of another better example than that? I think it's Cult.
Cult, S&M maybe, because they did like the Supreme collab.
Right, yeah.
I mean, fuck, Mongoose, Haro, but like, you know,
yeah, but
they're a little different. They're not really core, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're not like core brands as much as like whoever's over there is probably going to hate that. But like, yeah, it's as far as like street culture, like, yeah, like Cult, Robo did the Odd Future bike, the Simpsons bike, the fucking... Yeah, there's a new collab that just is getting put together, which is pretty tight. I won't say anything about it, but next year there's like a real sick one coming.
Damn.
Like
cool.
Yeah, there's a really cool collab
Tell
coming
me off air, dude. We gotta end this so I can know all these fucking secrets.
But yeah, but yeah, that one's pretty cool. And then yeah, I think Robbie's doing a good job. Like he's back in like moving more of the heavy stuff, trying to just like put more into the culture of it, which like I said, it kind of bleeds over, you know. And I'm not gonna sit here and talk like I'm an expert like about the clothing side of it, but I think like it has to be more well-rounded. Like people have to be able to like access all of it to be able to like access any of it, you know, or to like really understand it. Because like,
what do you mean by that?
Like the kids they get the bike, but then like they can't afford the clothes or whatever. So it has to be like at a good price point where like if they want to ride the bike and wear the clothes, like it has to be affordable. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think Robbie's doing like a good job of that, or like Paul's doing a good job of that. Like he's not making a pair of jeans and being like, yo, these are $300 because they're high fashion. You know what I mean? Like it's like a fucking $90 jean, which even that is like kind of expensive. But they were like more expensive when we first started distroing them, and then they dropped the price by like $15, and then all of a sudden kids are buying 2 pairs. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah.
Because it's like 2 pairs is under $200 now. So it's like just the psychology of it, I think, is like where that goes on missed sometimes with like bike companies. Is everybody's like so caught on their bottom dollar that like it's like, yo, if it's more affordable, more people will do it. You know what I mean? Like I feel bad for Australia at the moment because like I was on like a bike shop website the other day, an Australian one, and a frame was like $600.
Fuck.
At like a discount. And I was like, fuck, bro. Like that's crazy. You know, like that's like the Aussie dollar is just because the Aussie dollar is shit. But like it was like that when I was young at a certain point, and then the GFC happened and the US dollar tanked, and then all of a sudden the Australian dollar was better, and we were like, everything's cheap.
Yeah, it just goes back and forth.
Yeah, it's just economics, but I don't really know how none of that works. But
did you see that there's like 50,000 plus port workers that just went on strike? Did you see that?
Yeah, so I heard about that today actually from the coffee company that I work with, but I think it was East Coast and Gulf Coast.
Yes.
I don't think nothing happened here in Pedro because we had like a holy fuck moment in this meeting this morning, and we were all like, oh fuck, like are we gonna get the coffee? Yeah, we're gonna get like the shipment in, and then we looked online and figured out that no, it's just like Florida and the East Coast. They're not gonna do it in Pedro yet here in LA. Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, that could really affect everybody, like big time, because we bring everything in from outside of here. We don't make shit here.
Well, that's not entirely true. America still makes stuff when you compare them to Australia.
Australia doesn't make anything.
Australia don't make shit. Yeah, we're fucked. If there's like some sort of global fucking shit go down, like the pandemic was obviously one, but like we don't have enough industry in Australia to support nothing. Like they import fruit and vegetables from Southeast Asia. Like we import fucking everything. I don't think there's any car production in the country anymore. Like they probably might be on a kind of small scale, but there's no like Ford or GM or Toyota. Like nobody's doing like large scale manufacturing of cars and stuff. We export and we import everything. And then obviously
like, think about like why did it get that way? Why is things? But those are topics for another day. I want to know.
Well above my pay grade, brother. I don't know. we were talking about. Hand me a fucking C stand and a light. I got you all day. Like,
I'll point the light this direction.
Yeah. How does this fill look? And
it's cool that you're learning all the on-set jargon and all the terms, because that's a whole different ballgame. I've been on set a couple times and I was just blown away by like how compartmentalized it is. With it, this person is taking a break at this time and is responsible for just moving this one cord or this piece of tape, and it's just like, what? I'm so used to doing fucking everything at the same time that like, it's nice to be a part of something like that.
I've been on both ends of that spectrum where you're on a team with like I've been on shoots with like fucking five photo assistants, and I'm basically just like switching film backs. And then I've been on other sets where I'm the lighting director and I'm telling people like, hey, this is what I want, this is how we're going to achieve it. I need full stops of light here, I need you to cut a half stop over here, like this and that. And it's like, I need like a little bit of fill on this side and I want negative over here, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it's broken down and compartmentalized, especially in LA, because A, there's so fucking much money on the budget that they can afford to do that. And two, because it makes it flow seamlessly if you have a good team.
Yeah.
So like all that big set stuff, like might be 5 assistants, but like nobody misses a beat, and it's because you only have celebrity talent for like fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Off the back, or like for instance, I was on a I don't think I was on an NDA. I can't remember, but I was on a Stevie Nicks video recently, which came out anyway.
Sick.
And we're on the stills side, and they were doing the music video, filming that, and we only got her for like a few minutes at a time over 3 days. Like we would literally just have her for like 10, 15 minutes max at a time. And it was like, because she was filming the music video, and then we would come over and do the stills moment, and then we would go back to the music video, and then we'd keep going. And it was because the director was also a really well-known photographer, like an OG like music scene photographer and music video director. And yeah, we would only have it for like a few minutes at a time, where it was like we would set up, sit around for 4 hours, and then they'd be like, someone would call stills, and it'd be like, oh fuck, all right, we're on. So we just like jump up, like get her in, get a light test with someone else, like bring her in, start shooting, we need to adjust this, cool, all right. So we'd have like a backdrop set up with like 5 people on the corners, and we're all on a fucking walkie, and it's like, hey, I need you to take 2 stops off the fucking the left hair light. It's like, all right, cool. So you bump it, and then it was just like that. And then it would like, she'd go back to music video world again, and it'd be like, all right, cool. Anybody need coffee? And then we just go back to fucking kicking it. So that's the first day I was there for like 14 hours.
Yeah.
And then the second day I wasn't on that one. The second day, because I had a job elsewhere. And then the last day we were supposed to have 3 photo moments, and we took 1, and then they canned the other 2, and they just kept going with the video, and we got paid the full day rate. We were like, all right, cool.
Solid. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not bad, like in that regard. But yeah, some days you'll bust ass. Like I've done some really shitty Amazon commercials that are like super, like last year, like in the middle of the summer, like 100 degrees, 4 days in a row in the fucking valley. Like that sucks. Yeah. But then if you're in downtown LA in a fucking air conditioned studio and everybody's nice, pretty clutch. Yeah, like that's not really that hard. Some days you're like, this is a job. Like this is nuts.
Yeah. You mentioned print media earlier, and I wanted to know you've obviously had photos published. What was your first experience of that?
First experience in print media was Focalpoint, I think. I had stuff digitally in Focalpoint for sure. I'm pretty sure I got photos in a magazine, in a couple issues of Focalpoint.
Nice. How long did Focalpoint? Is it still print?
No. It's been print since probably like 2016, I reckon. Yeah. In the last one. You got him up next, so you can ask him yourself.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, I think that was the last time we did one. We did a photo book for Alive and Well. I shot some stuff in that. But yeah, the most recent stuff I've had print. I haven't had anything in dig yet, which I want. That would be cool. That'd be like a little bucket list thing. And like I just have to send stuff to Frank, stop being lazy. Yeah. But I also just like mostly my stuff either is like cult related at the moment, or I just send it over to Paul and we use it for Silent. Like I had a cover for Silent like 2-3 issues ago. I had shot Devon. That was my first print cover for anything. Sick. That was pretty cool. I have a couple copies of it here on the bookshelf, I think. Yeah. There we go. So this is my first print cover. This is Dev.
Nice. Yes.
Santa Monica.
Bringing it up right here.
Front and back. So yeah.
That's bomb.
Yeah, and then I had a double pager in this with Preston and Eddie are in here as well, which was cool. But this is cool. Like I really enjoy Silent at the moment, and I think
here's Preston.
Yeah, there's Presto. Yeah, here it is.
Wait, like they made it into this, and you sent them just the photo, or did you do the tree stuff?
I sent the photos, and then Paul does the collage work. I'm pretty sure it's just Paul, and then Dan Banks helps Paul with Slack. So I'm not sure who does the layout for Slack mag.
Cool.
Silent is just photo. Yeah, he's Eddie.
Eddie.
And then Silent is just photo and editorial, and then Silent is just photo, no words because it's silent, and then and then Slack is all like editorial, which is like kind of going to be like a OG dig or a fucking ride BMX or whatever, where like people are doing interviews and all that type of shit.
Storytelling.
But and I think like as they dive more into it, they'll be able to like throw more money at stuff like that and do a little trip here and there and all that type of shit. But So that's pretty cool at the moment. Like people are starting to really grab onto that and like shoot more. And I think it's sick just to be able to like kids can buy the magazine and like see it, you know, instead of just digital sucks. Like
it's just gone.
I'm not a huge, yeah. Like I for work's sake, like try and look at the Vogue website every once in a while, just to kind of see what's going on like editorially. But I find myself just going to a fucking newsstand and buying a copy of it, you know, or like going and looking at it because it's like it's way better. Like you're trying to look at lighting and like whatever or styling on something, and you just fucking sitting there hunched over a computer screen or looking at your phone, and it kind of just takes away from like the beauty of it, you know.
Yep. You can't, I mean, you can touch your computer screen, but it's not the same as like you can touch the photo and see it and move it and all that, you know. It's tangible media will never truly
no. And I'm super grateful for the opportunity to be able to like shoot for stuff like Silent or do the photo books for Colt. And like I'm gonna try and I just started working on actually like a personal photo project that's like external BMX, more like landscape and documentary style stuff, but I'm probably just gonna like work on it for like a year and a half and try and put something together, because I figured like I'm shooting more film at the moment and I'm like shooting landscape stuff when I'm on BMX trips, and it'd be cool to just put together like a photo book project. And seeing dudes like Augie do stuff like that too, like Augie's doing more like documentary style stuff, like it's kind of like inspiring to see friends do stuff like, you know, just like start working on personal projects and start trying to look at my work more mindfully instead of in the sense of just like, cool, shot a sick photo, throwing it on Instagram. Like, trying to just, you know, have a little bit of a backlog of my stuff that's not just BMX related, that I can look back in 20 years and have a coffee table book of stuff that I did and trips that I took and photos that I took, you know.
And there's something to that, like that's almost stepping up to the next level, because like you get good at taking photos, but then like you learn that there's a skill of how you present it or how you package it or how you market it, and that's a whole different ballgame.
Like that's learning how to curate stuff correctly and like have it flow with like even recently I've been learning like color science and stuff like that, or like I have this book in the living room, The Designer's Dictionary of Color, and like color reference to language and that like reference to like communication and like what do certain colors represent in like the communication of marketing.
Yes,
because like when you break it down like at a real like fundamental level, it's like red is used
hungry
to, exactly,
like
especially in American marketing.
green is calming or blue is calming. Blue is contemplative. So, like,
the way that they utilize color and stuff, and like learning how to curate that through imagery and color science, and like put together a photo book that flows well and doesn't just look like a fucking bunch of point and shoot photos.
Exactly. You can like, you can curate the mood as somebody scrolls through your magazine. It starts hungry and then it ends, you know, fucking angry.
Or just like even like the color swatches on photos and stuff. Like there's so many, I don't know, color and light is something that I could fucking just go on about all day and sound like a crazy person to people that don't understand it. It's like, I've been trying to learn to color grade at the moment because I just started shooting everything in S-Log more often. But just like just learning to color grade and stuff like that, and having the correct monitor and knowing when and like calibrating your monitors and doing it in the correct light, like not having super glare on your screen, and like being able to like walk away from it too, because sometimes you'll like fry yourself out if you sitting there staring at for too long, bro. Like it'll fuck with your head. Or even like, this sounds mad funny, but when I have to repaint the psych wall at the studio back to pure white, I sometimes, if I've had to repaint it after people have used it for something else and they painted a different color, like it'll take me like a good like fucking 10 coats of paint. Like if it's been painted something dark and you're trying to get it back to pure white for e-commerce stuff, like I'll spend 6 hours in there with the fucking paint roller, 16-foot walls, like 3 corners, and I have to go outside because at a certain point I'm like dizzy because I'm like looking at white, like thinking like, is this white? Like, have I, like, what the fuck? Like, is this really white? Like, I don't know. So
is this white?
Yeah, you got to like step away from it, especially under like white fluorescent light, because you just get all fucking cooked out. You're like, whoa,
fried. I've spent a good, several hours just making subtle tweaking on color. I don't even want to call what I do color grading. I'm doing the same process as color grading, but it's just color correcting because I don't consider myself a pro. But I'll fucking really get fried just like tweaking it, looking at it, tweaking it back, looking at it. It'll drive you nuts.
Yeah, for real. It's like, yeah, and just learning how to like, yeah, like we were just saying, color correcting stuff. Like you'll stare at it for so long that you're like, is especially skin tones. Like recently, like I've been really trying to dive in on correcting skin tones, and I'm like, is that really what the person looks like?
Are you learning the graph, using the scopes, and like there's a
learning how to not clip it out on the top and the bottom, and like
that. And then for skin tone, there's an interesting one. It's like a circle graph, and there's a certain line that is perfect for skin tone. Usually.
Yeah, like where you find it to line up with that person's skin tone, which is like I worked on a thing last year for Google, which was like super interesting because they were like their marketing point for like I think it was like the Pixel 7 or some shit was that it was more skin color correct than iPhones, and they were marketing it towards like POC community.
Yeah.
Because it was like I think what they refer to it as is like equitable color representation, I think is what they were calling it. That's how they were marketing it, which it was true. Like when you look at the photo taken on a Pixel 7 compared to an iPhone, I had never noticed this, but probably because I'm fucking white. But I had never noticed that the skin tones can be off.
Yeah.
On an iPhone sensor comparative to a Google Pixel sensor. And apparently it's worse if you have a different pigmented skin. Yeah. So it was like really, really interesting to like hear about that. Is interesting because they were shooting editorial on the Pixel 7 with a bunch of people like that were of color for that community and to market it that way. And I was just like, wow, this is so interesting. I had no idea that that was even a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Or that was even an issue with an iPhone sensor because, yeah, you just fucking shoot photos on an old day with the HDR on and it makes everything high contrast and unrealistic anyway. So,
yeah. I wonder how effective that was as a marketing campaign. Probably good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't see a lot of Google Pixels out there in the world.
Yeah,
it was definitely interesting to learn about at the time for sure. I think Apple just have everybody under their thumb at this point. Like it's
we're in the ecosystem.
Yeah, like a complete fucking mega company that has got a tab on everybody.
For real. I gotta pee, and then we'll be back with Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, too easy.
And we're back, and the bladder is empty, and I know all the secrets now because he told me over the break. Don't at me. Hey, Pat Freyne, who's your Australian Mount Rushmore?
Fuck. All right. Australian Mount Rushmore. Is it 4 people? 5 people. It's 4 people. I don't even know who the fuck's on the real Mount Rushmore. Some presidents, yeah.
Yeah, take a guess at the real one, because that
is on it.
Yeah.
Oh, fucked if I know. Abraham Lincoln, probably. Teddy Roosevelt. Is he a president?
Yeah, he was on there.
I probably know he's not on there, but fucking John F. Kennedy, I don't fucking know.
No JFK. It was a little bit before his time.
Yeah, it was before his time. I don't know.
Oh, it finished in 1941. The actual they were created by
I probably got 2 or 4 right. I'm probably gonna have to learn that.
Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were the other ones.
There you go. But, I gotta figure
You're
that
basically an American citizen, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, I need to do that before I apply for my citizenship.
Yeah.
But for my Aussie one, fuck, right, 4 people. Kim Grosser is going to be on there for sure, like without a doubt. Grosser was probably like one of the first dudes that I saw go out of Australia and like do the BMX thing, and he's just a G. Like Kim filmed his he rides a bit still, I think, but Kim filmed his Alive and Well section when he was 37 or 38.
Wow.
And like going out filming on sessions with him was like fucking sick because he was just like super. He's so no bullshit, that guy. Like he's just like straight to the point, but he'll tell you if he thinks you don't have it. Like if you're like, I'm gonna try this, he's like, chill, kid. Like, you know, but he'll back you and support you, like if he thinks you got it at the time.
Yeah.
And then so Kim, probably Calvin, same sort of deal. Cal's probably on there. Like got out of Australia, was a huge inspiration for me personally. Not to dick ride him too much, but Calvin, Corey Bowen, Bowie's probably up there, same sort of reason. And then last one would be, I don't know if I want to do someone current, or it'd be Bowie. Current one would be Lou Mills.
Cool.
But like an older one would be Pete Redivo.
Pete
Redivo used to ride for Colony. Pete was a big, like, when I was young, again, like kind of like inspiring dude to see ride when I was young. He was like park rider, And then an honorable mention would probably be Marnold.
Marnold,
Monzi was like a big influence for me for street. But yeah, it would probably be off the top of my head. It would have to be KG, Calvin, Lou, and then Pete.
Pete's out here doing Supermans.
Yeah. Pete Redivo is better than you. That's fucking funny. See if you can find Pete's section from the Colony DVD.
I think it just popped up here actually. Clint and Pete, the Colony DVD.
Colony DVD. Yeah. Pete's clips in that were really sick. Or is this? Oh, they have a split part.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
There he is.
That's Clint. Yeah, here's Pete. Pete was in a DVD called, I think it was called Untitled DVD or Self-Titled. There was like an OG BMX DVD out of Australia called Self-Titled. I'm sure that's not on YouTube. It might be. Look up, chuck it in the search bar, see if you can find Self-Titled BMX. Self-Titled BMX, I think. But yeah, this video was
Self-Titled bonus section.
That's the bonus section.
So let's see if the other.
I think this is Clint's YouTube channel because it's Proddy BMX. I wonder if he has the whole thing up there.
A slew of other videos were produced, such as damn 2000 Self-Titled came out. Bonus section, Self-Titled.
Yeah, so I was.
There's the full movie right there. Yeah,
I was 5 years old. Wherever Pete's section is, this is really, really sick. I watched this like a bazillion times. This video. Yeah, this video was sick. Like for the time, it was again like all real skate park heavy, but it was fucking super dope. Watched it a million times. Got juiced. Went to the skate park. Tried to learn tail whips.
Yeah, Pete it's funny. Taught me you can how to see your influence from this with your trailer for your skate park DVD. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Like it was like super relevant. You know, and like Pete taught me how to. There he is. Pete taught me how to tail whip at my local skate park because he wasn't. That was again like sort of like I don't know, like an inspiring thing as a kid, you know, like you meet the local pro, but he's like in front of you. It's not like through the internet, you know, like Pete lived like 30 minutes from me. And I remember he came to my local skate park for a jam that one of the older dudes threw. And I was just, he like flipped turned down the spine. And I was just like, oh my fucking God, like what the fuck, you know? Like, so it was just dudes like that. Like, cause I think Australia is real good like that. Like, cause you're like the distros, around and people get hooked up. That's my local park right there, Warragul.
Nice.
But yeah, so it was just like those dudes were super accessible because like they were just doing it like the rest of us, you know, like they were just around writing and filming and doing whatever. And it wasn't like they were constantly on a trip to fucking Barcelona or like the only time you saw them was in a full-length video that came out once every 2 years. Like they were just there, you know. So it made you like believe that like, oh shit, I can do this too. Like they're doing this, I can do it as well, you know.
So is there any speaking of new videos, is there anything coming out of Australia we should know about?
There was a video that dropped on the weekend actually that's fucking sick. It's called Wait a While, and it was Calvin Stibbids after Calvin kind of left Oz. I think Stib might have already been filming videos at that point. I think the trailer's on the local BMX. There it is. But Stibbids, this dropped at a premiere at a bar in Fremantle in Western Australia, like I think like 3 months ago. But I hit up Stib like maybe like a month ago and was hassling him on Instagram, like, yo, when's this fucking video drop? And then on Sunday night, I saw it on his story and I immediately like followed the link on his story and just bought it. And then 10 minutes later, he sends me a fucking photo of him sitting behind the computer at local BMX at the shop, and he's like, "You were the first one that bought it." I was like, "Take my money, cunt!" Like I told you. So this is really good. They filmed it. I think this is like a 4 or 5 year project. But Callan's done a few videos. He did like Just a Game.
Third full length.
Just a Game is like not online anywhere, I think, because he had like Just a Game crew. They had Just a Game. He did something else, still a game or something. Like he did 2 videos that were really good, and then and then this is like the third one, which is good. It's really good. Kyle Ralston's like a young dude out of Perth, has the opening section. And Kyle's a really cool kid. He's probably like not kid, but he's in his early 20s now. Stibbits is in there. Obviously fucking kills it. Luke Snelling has a really good part. Tom Roddy has a good part. That dude right there, Mitch Morris, is the homie. Mitch has the endo. It's just really fucking sick. Like kills it. Huge rail guy. And Jake Collis also has some really good stuff in this, which is sick. So yeah, like super crew vibes. But this is like the sort of shit I grew up like stoked on, you know, like the way this is filmed on I think it's like HVX or HPX 170.
Yep.
It was like Callan was filming on that. Calvin was filming on that. Biggie was filming on that. Like Coops was filming on one of those for a long time.
Wait, is Biggie Big Salad?
Yeah. Biggs is the man. He's like my favorite Australian filmer, probably, if I'm being honest. Like his videos, every day is a Saturday. I watched that till the DVD burned out. Like, what was the other one? Every day is a Saturday. That's What's Up. Like the other 2020 DVD, that was fucking great. That was amazing. Like still watch that to this day. And then his most recent one, Tear the Club Up, was nuts. Like
Tear the Club Up,
Norris, like all the boys. But yeah, this one's really good. So if anyone's watching, if anyone watches this, buy a copy of this fucking video and support Australian BMX.
$5, dude?
Yeah, exactly. It. And I think once the exchange rate pops up, it's actually $350 US. So there's the hack.
Cool.
Price.
Yeah, that's happening.
So watch that and suss it out. But yeah.
Fuck yeah. It's getting purchased.
Yeah.
Wait a while. All right. American Mount Rushmore. Or not American, just all time, all over. It doesn't have to be American.
Okay, all time Mount Rushmore. I thought we were about to finish the podcast and I completely forgot. I was like, this is it. See you later. All time. So 4 people. AK would be number one. AK's like 2016 or 2015 dig at it that he did with Rich, unreal. Like Talk is Cheap, unreal. His old Nike part, unreal. Like all that shit. Seeing AK ride in person for the first time on that Germany trip, crazy. Like he's just such a soft-spoken dude, amazing bike rider, really nice human being. Second one, probably David Grant, because he's tall as fuck.
Hell yeah, dude. The tall boys.
Yeah, before I got on Cole, I rode a couple Raider frames. That was like what I was buying before I started getting bikes. DBG's like taller than me too. I met him on a BSD trip in Australia, and I think he was like, I'm 6'6". I think he was like a good inch or so taller than me.
Yeah.
Garrett, probably. Yeah, like I hate to be cliche, but like, you know, the dude's got fucking more X Games golds than any other person on the planet. Yep. And he's still out here filming fucked shit that I could only dream of.
I can't wait, dude. I'm sure. I think he has like 10 minutes of footage. I don't know how much footage he has, but I know it's exciting.
I've heard some things from stuff that's been filmed for sure.
So
I've heard about some stuff, and it's just like I couldn't even fucking string the first 3 tricks of that line together.
Yeah.
And then the last one. I was never really like a mid-school guy. Like I was born in 1985 and I started riding when I was 15. So I kind of missed that part of it. But last one. Who we got? AK, Gaz, and David Grant. Probably Ty.
Nice.
It'd have to be Ty. Because like, Ty was again like super influential for the way that I watched his parts a lot. Yeah, I had his Federal frame when I was like pretty young.
Those Federal videos back in the day were the shit, dude.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll shamelessly like fanboy here for a sec, but like when I first got an Eclat in 2021, I went on a trip to Vegas with Calvin filmed it, and it was in the van and as like a fucking grown man too, to be like as stoked as I was like internally. I think I held it down. I don't think I lost it too hard, but it was fucking Julian, Ty, and Bruno, and then and then me, and I was just like, "What the fuck am I doing here, boys?" Like, you know what I mean? I was like, "This one's nuts." But and Ty's always been super cool. Like, he's a good dude. Cool. He's still riding, doing his thing. Like, he's not riding as actively as he was, but Ty's like someone that I always looked up to. And then to meet him, and he was like actually pretty sick. I was like, cool. Like, he's the homie now. Like, whenever I'm done working in San Diego or whatever, we'll get a little skate park session or grab some food or something. So. Nice. Yeah, that was like a cool kind of like experience, like you growing up looking up to somebody and then you meet him and you're like, you're actually a nice guy. Like, yeah, you know, like,
yeah,
it's cool. It's cool to meet the people you look up to from the other side of the world and they're not a dick, you know?
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, so probably Ty, and obviously a fucking savage on a bike. So
pretty good Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that'll be it.
Thanks for doing this.
No dramas. I feel like I just rambled for, I don't even know how long we've been on this shit. Like
1 hour and 40 minutes.
Hour and a half, hour and 40. It's not bad. Covered some topics.
Perfect length. Perfect.
Yeah, hopefully I didn't fucking mumble too hard with the accent. People are going to be like, we need subtitles on this shit.
Yeah.
Man. No, it's fun. It's cool.
It's nice to talk to you, Pat.
Yeah, fucking add out the Gippy Crew secret on the fucking internet. Now I'm finished.
Yeah. You're finished. You're done for, son.
Yeah.
All right.
I've lost all credibility.
And all right. Cut. We out of here. Later, nerds.
Peace.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming for another episode, and I'll see you next week. I hope you have a fantastic day. And if you need any video work or editing done, holler at your boy. I'm not gonna have a salary anymore after this month. Sheesh.